Okay, so what's up, everybody? Here, Robbie Singh here from Gracie Jiu Berlin, head instructor of the academy. We have.
Hi, I'm Ali.
Aaron. So we're going all okay.
Dante.
Excellent. So we've all just finished class. Master Cycle is finished. We've just been doing some striking within our rolling. We call it street sparring, where we put our gloves on. We do our rolling with it. And what we started to have this idea of is having mat chats at the end of the class. We just take 5 minutes to have a discussion on either a question that's been sent through or just something that's come up on the mat that we've decided to talk about. And I had a really cool question that was posted on one of our posts recently that I wanted to kind of cover. And the question was this. The question was, and this is for you guys, these guys haven't heard the question yet, so I'm pointing to them now, and they're going to just give raw answers to the question that comes up. So, as Jiu-Jitsu moves to a more commercial, sports-orientated venture, the term martial arts still gets connected to Jiu-Jitsu. And the question was, what is martial arts? What are people's interpretation of the term martial arts nowadays, and what does that feel like? And this is a cool perspective because we've got people that are in martial arts for less than a decade, and somebody who's been in martial arts for almost 3 decades, and kind of seeing different developments within martial arts, and it's a cool idea to discuss. So what is martial arts, and how does the term martial arts connect to Jiu-Jitsu, and how you apply it in your training? It's a good one, right? I liked it a lot.
Martial arts, for me, is always, like, the first thing that comes to mind is a self-defense aspect. But I understand it can be, the lines get blurred now with sports jiu-jitsu and MMA and the rise in popularity, because
which is beneficial, right?
It is.
Like, there's benefit to the sportive aspect, there's benefit to the entertainment aspect of mixed martial arts, there's benefits to the self-defense training. They all has its aspects.
Yeah, I think like the ideal martial artist, I think it turns into a way of life, and without trying to be all preachy or like cringy, but it's like you apply it in all aspects of life, from eating healthy to trying to sleep well to how you treat other people, your partner, your friends.
There's a great saying, right? Like, when you know the way well, you see in all. And that's like what I kind of think of when it comes to martial arts, is like, if you do embody it, you apply it to every aspect of your life. It's not just something you do on the mat. For myself, like, coming up, I had to really think about what martial arts meant, because I started in karate and then transitioned to jiu-jitsu. And what I started to develop in my 20s was this idea of, like, art in general is the creativity applied to fundamental skills that you use to embody your representation of the art skills that are being taught to you. So I started to say, we're about to do some martial skills. These are the drills that you do. And the martial skills are the techniques. And the techniques are taught to everybody. Foundation skills, advanced skills, whatever it is. But when you begin to spar, that's when you demonstrate martial arts. And the martial arts is how you then take those fundamental skills that have been taught to you, interpret them into your own skills, and then how you choose to apply them within combat situations. So everybody can learn an armbar, but you might choose to set it up by doing this. You might choose to set it up by doing that. But that there is your interpretation. And it's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just your creativity on display within the role. And I think that's a good thing to display.
Definitely. Did you have, like, going from karate to jiu-jitsu, was there an ego death of, because the skills are so, well, there would definitely be some crossover, but
the first time I had that was when I transitioned, because I first transitioned from karate to boxing, and having done karate for many years and felt very confident in my sparring, the way karate point sparring tournaments were done and so forth compared to being in a boxing ring was very different. And that was like a little ego check. It's like, I'm a black belt, but I'm getting smashed with hooks. Because in sports karate, you're not allowed to throw hook punches. It's only straight punches. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, there's these whole sides to my body that are now exposed that I have to then manage. And that became a humbling experience. And then the transition to jiu-jitsu was the same. Okay, well, now I can't punch. And somebody's on top of you, and how do you escape? And that became a very challenging initial transition to make. For myself, I think I was blessed with tenacity. So, like, my kind of, I'll continue to pursue something even when I find it challenging. And not everybody has that. And it wasn't the accessibility of jiu-jitsu when I started, in the early 2000s, was not as big as it is now. Like there wasn't as much, there wasn't online content as it is now. Like I was learning off the VHSs of the Gracies in Action, then later on the DVDs of the Gracies in Action, right? And then like combatives and stuff like that. And like Black Belt Martial Arts Magazine would release like a grappling edition once a year. They would have like John Will and Higan Machado on, and we'd like watch that and like take content, or looking at books and trying to learn photo by photo and trying to apply what it meant in the photos, and that was a bit different. So yeah, like the knowledge wasn't as easy to get as well, whereas nowadays we're blessed. Like you can jump on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that, and you can see people from all over the world presenting, a cross choke or a scissor sweep or a pendulum sweep, and it's presented 17 different ways. And none of them are wrong. It's just their interpretation of how they utilize it based on their body size, their body weight, their mobility, their flexibility. And each of those has one element that you could take to advance your technique as well. So I think the experience that I went through learning in martial arts, not as many people have to experience nowadays because of the accessibility of knowledge that you guys have, which I think is great because it means you advance better, the whole training room advances better, everybody benefits from the experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, we take that for granted, just the surplus of information, I think, nowadays, and how you can apply things. And you see it in everything, in music and other things as well. It's like the access to the information that the internet creates is there's everything up there, but it's up to the individual to harness it. And sorry, no, I'm not choking up and crying. It's up to the individual to harness it. It's really up to them and the discipline. That
I'm gonna edit that so it just says
I'm crying. And then just
100%, right? Like we say, like when it comes to jiu-jitsu and we talk about our teaching team and so forth, we say the head instructor has to be the biggest student on the mat. They have to be the one going and gaining the information and going through and then like learning from other people on the mat and so forth. And that's the reality of it, is like if you want to excel in your field of endeavor, you have to be self-driven, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not the expectation for everybody on the mat. Right, that's not the expectation for everybody who comes to learn guitar. That's not the expectation for everybody who starts a band or whatever it is, right? But if you want to excel in it, then that's the step you're going to have to take, right? And it's okay to be a hobbyist, and it's okay to learn at your own pace. But if you have specific objectives within the art that you're doing, well, then you do need to do the extra work to get there. And everything benefits from it. Like doing for myself, like doing a guitar lesson, putting myself as like a white belt in guitar and like taking that perspective of being a student starting to start again is as beneficial for me as doing a seminar with a 4th degree black belt and taking away some of their knowledge to come to the mat. Like you can learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it all feeds in. It's not just, knowledge is in every aspect. Oh, I'm losing this now, but in everything, I guess, like you can apply, like you said, lessons from the guitar. The opposite for me, like, thinking big hotshot guitar player over here, come over here, get, choked and armbar like 100 times, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe I can, channel that ego in a little bit and be a little bit more humble, and it's a great place. But it's not like a humbling thing where it's like, we're going to beat you up, Mr. Hotshot. It's just kind of like...
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people think with martial arts nowadays, is that in order to get, like, the idea of, like, humble means to be physically attacked on the mat. And that doesn't exist anymore, right? It's like, well, it doesn't need to exist anymore, right? Why did that happen back in the day? Because people didn't know what jiu-jitsu was. So they need to prove what jiu-jitsu was. Well, everybody knows what jiu-jitsu is now, right? We've known for 30 years now. 1993, UFC kind of did it from there. What we now need to do is show people what its original intention was, which is jiu-jitsu is there for the weak to persevere over the strong. Jiu-jitsu is for everybody to be able to learn, which means you have to create environments where people can learn, which means you have to allow people to express themselves in their own way, which means you have to allow people to learn the combat skills so they have the opportunity to be able to demonstrate the artistry and the creativity of application. And that might be on the mat, but they might not have the competency and the physical capacity yet to do that on the mat, but they can carry away the way they learnt a technique or attempted to have tenacity in applying a technique or sticking to a goal or persevering with the technique even when it fails and apply it to other areas of their life.
100%.
That's a great mat chat. Want to finish it off?